Hi, I'm Matt, and in this episode we are going to be unboxing a HobbyKing order. Now in here we should have, what was it, the Decathlon little seaplane in here, a couple of small motors, and I think some servos as well. So yeah, decent sized box. Mr. Parcel Force was here this morning at the crack of dawn. Good boy. And let's get her open and see what we got. Brilliant. I can immediately tell you that the kids are going to be pleased. This stuff's brilliant. Get that out of the way. That's why it's brilliant. Ooh, okay. Right, there's the model. We'll have a closer look at that one in a moment. What we got in here. So let me just move that out of the way. Now, apologies, I don't have the iPad with me this morning. The kids have been watching Cookie Swirl C or whatever it is, and have flattened the battery on it. So, won't have any close-up shots per se. Let's have a quick look to see what we've got. I'll get these organised out, make sure I've got them all together. Wow, that is small. Right. I've been and received 4 of the Turnigy TJY 1440A little micro servos. They're only about, what, 3.6 grams? Something like that ish. Don't quote me on that, but put it this way, there's not a lot of weight in them. And I've bought those because we have, what is it, the Sakura wing, which needs to get built. I've also got that balsa wood thingy one to get built as well, so I need to stock up on those. I've also bought, I already had one of these, but I needed another. It's a Turnigy 10 amp ESC. Happy days. And again, that's for the smaller wings. Oh my god, that is tiny. Whoa. Huh? Okay, really odd wiring on this. And it might be the norm for smaller motors. But I've been and received a Prop Drive 1312 2600 kV motor. Look at the size of that. It's tiny. Jeez, I may have bought one too small. I'm going to go and get my phone now. Sorry, I've just wandered off, but I'll get me coffee while I'm at it. But that is absolutely tiny. I'll put a photo up on your screen for you. Well, you're going to see me taking the photo. But let me just take a photograph at this, because it's absolutely tiny. And I don't know what or why they've done that with the wires, but it must be just straightforward coated on the ends. Absolutely tiny. I'm going to put that back in the bag, because if I drop that on the floor in here, it'll be gone. So we'll find out what that one's like in the future. Stick that in the filing cabinet. Oh yeah, happy days. Temperature control unit. Now, I bought this because I'm fed up with my hands, my thumb. We were flying up there and I could not feel my thumb the other day on the sticks. It's gone rock solid and it was so blooming cold. So this is my approach to trying to beat the cold, because it is now getting here to, well, it is winter here in the United Kingdom, and if it's not raining then it's bitterly cold. So we've been and got some heater pads, and they are much bigger than what I was personally expecting. They are absolutely huge. They are huge. Let me go and get a ruler. Maybe I should have had a ruler prepared, but they were not as big as what I was expecting. Let's have a quick look at these. They are approximately about 12 inches or 30 centimetres in new money. Long by, get that right way round, 8.5 centimetres by about 3.25 inches wide. Very, very cool. And the reason why, like I said, the reason why I bought this is I'm fed up of having freezing cold hands on the flight line. And that looks monstrous. How does this connect up? I presume it's just a straight 4-way plug, which you can only get in the wrong way round. Right way round. Looks like they've wired these up right. Little temperature heater do there on it, and 2 crocodile clips, which I will chop off and put XT60s on there. Well, to be frankly honest, I will test it before I chop these crocodile plugs off, just in case it's faulty. Maybe that's a little tip for you, is that before you actually go and modify a product, just make sure it works beforehand, so that you can send it back. Otherwise, they'll just reject it and say it doesn't work because you modified the product by changing the plug on the end. But it is a valid argument from HobbyKing's or whichever supplier's point of view. So, yeah, very impressed by that. That box is a bit on the big side. That's the only negative which I can say. That unit, and again, I'm sure somebody will probably ask me about the dimensions on it. 6.5 centimeters or 2.5 inches by 5 centimeters wide, or about 2 inches, and approximately 2.5 centimeters tall, or an inch. Dimensions on that. But happy days. My hands were freezing, so we'll get that over there out of the way. And I can tell you immediately, I will be using and abusing that a lot. Right, on to the star of the show. Now, damn you, HobbyKing, for putting models on sale. I didn't like the what was it? The Hall Cherokee, wasn't it? The day before, and it had really bad flappy wings on it. And then this little one came up, and I was like, oh, really? It looks crap. And then I saw a couple of videos on YouTube, and actually, I take that statement completely back. It flies great. I was genuinely surprised on how well it did in the air. Now, I don't know if you know that for me, the flying sights are 30 minutes that way and 20 and about 22 minutes in the opposite direction. So anything which I can fly at home is definitely classed as happy days. That's why the micro quad, which is down here, I'm not really into flying quads, to be frankly honest. I much prefer models or flying wings. But chucking this one around at home, happy days. Especially this is my Psycho one, which I run on 2S, and it's mad. So anything which I could potentially fly at home definitely does get my attention. Apparently it's a 1/16 scale, wingspan 68 centimeters, length 48 centimeters. Comes with some floats, pilot operated apparently. That's handy. RC system with 4 channels, 2S LiPo, 450 to 800 milliampere, and a LiPo charger and balancer is required. Right, well, I've got some 2S batteries here somewhere. Again, I'm wandering off. And grabbing that, I've got loads of these 1000 zippy 2S packs, which I use on the Bonsai wing, the Rainbow wing, and a couple of other models. So fingers crossed that it fits in this model. If not, it'll be sellotaped on there for every flight, or velcroed on. So anyway, let's get her up. Apologies, that'll come out really nice on the microphone. So there's the box. Wow. Right, 10 out of 10 for packaging. You got to give them that. Have a look at that for packaging. I am going to be absolutely amazed if there's anything broken here. Or if it is broke, it was broke when it was put in by the factory. Let's have a quick look at the manual. That was quick enough. We've got some foam. Stick that over there out of the way. More foam blocks. There's our landing gear. Brilliant. Yeah, I'm trying not to break the model on the way out. There's the wing. Oh, that's a bigger wingspan than what I was expecting. What else we got on here? Oh, that must be the floats. I won't be using the floats. Definitely won't be using the floats. Right. Let's have a quick nose to see what they're like. That is a... In fact, the only way which I can explain this to you is actually just take a photo. I'm going to put the ruler next to it. It looks like EPO foam, but it's such a small size of EPO. It's the little bubbles are absolutely tiny, and I'll put it next to the ruler. So, and that photo will be up on your screen for you. Is that you'll then see what I mean? The little EPO bubbles of foam are absolutely tiny. And then that must be the gear to go up, I'm guessing, like that on that side. In fact, I'm not really going to use those, so I'm going to stick those in the box. By the way, remember I bought this model out of my own cash, so if you've got any questions about it, please just ask, and you will definitely get an honest reply. We've got, looks like they've got the control horns in. Oh, we've even got the servos in. That's happy days. Oh, it's had a dent on the wing already. There's a little nick back here, which, again, looking at the state of that packaging, that must have happened on the when the item was being packaged, because it was really, really well packed with that amount of polystyrene around it. And the box was perfectly fine, and it was double boxed as well. So, yeah, very curious. Nice finish on the wings, spray painting, bit lapse, but not that bad. Probably did a better job than what I would do, to be brutally honest. Let's have a look at the model itself. I mean, happy days. It did say plug and fly, so it does come with the servos. There is a 20 amp ESC right inside. Now, let me go and see if I can take a photo of this so that you can see it. I'll put that in there. Apologies, the lighting won't be very good because it's right inside. There we go. And I'll stick that photo up on the screen. Nice control horns. Actually look like they are up to the job. And I'm sure we've all seen those crappy control horns. And those are definitely up to the job. Nice paintwork on the back. Oh, I've got a bubble on the sticker on the back of mine. I've got two bubbles actually. I don't know why that is, but apparently, well, I've got no idea. I've got two, yeah, and there's bubbles on the opposite side. Very, very nicely little moulded, and not a chance in hell of getting that battery in here. Okay. Broke it. Oh, I take that. Oh, somebody might be having the Dremel out in a bit, because I reckon that will fit in there after I Dremel it in. So, who was it? It was Lauren, and was it Mark or Martin who bought one of these as well? To give you a heads up, you won't fit a battery pack of 1000 zippy in there unless you start, well, go and get the Dremel out and Dremel it in. And what I will do, I'll just read out the dimensions of the battery compartment. It's 67 millimeters, which is 2 inches and a half and a quarter. Yeah, sorry, my inches measurements are not that good. As far as width, it is 35 millimeters, or an inch and 1 to 3/8. No, is that eighths? 3/4. No, eighths. Sorry, my bad. Like I said, my inches aren't that good. And then depth, we are talking 1.5 centimeters, or just over half an inch by a fair chunk. And that's assuming that you don't actually put that grate on top. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm going to need to work out a way of getting that in there. We'll see if we can go forwards a bit, or we might even do side mounting. Because I've got loads of those, and I'm not buying batteries especially for this model, so I will be reusing what I've got. So, that's the only negative so far. The servos look like they've been well fitted in there. I don't think they're... Again, this is one of the things which you should do with your model as well, is actually make sure the servos are stuck in. If I'm brutally honest, I don't think you're going to see this in here. It would have been a better idea for the servos to be mounted the opposite way around. Now, I know that they've done it that way around on purpose, but on the flip side, we probably want the receiver down that end, I'm guessing. I don't know, I'll work it out. Let's have a quick look at the optional accessories. What we got? Oh, we got some landing gear. Brilliant. Still even got the plastic film on it, which I assume goes in there somehow. Nice and strong, by the way. Definitely feels rigid. I presume that goes in there like that. There we go. Oh, and it did he? I definitely think I will be flying this one out the front. And even comes with a foam, which does need a bit of trimming on there. That looks pretty cool. We got some wing spars by the looks of it to hold the spars on, comes complete with a screwdriver, one big screw, which must be to hold the wings on. And I've just noticed, I was just trying to count the servos up. So we'll have one for the ESC, one for the rudder, one for the elevon, and only one for the ailerons, because they've got a joiner in there, which is a nice touch. They could have just left that blank, but they've actually included the joiner wire as well. Nice touch. That was actually well thought out. Couple of, oh look, we even get spare screws for the control horns, which is a nice touch. And we also get some extra clevises as well, which is definitely a nice touch. I wasn't expecting that in the kit. Oh, and we do get a little plastic thing, which, I assume, sits on the back of there, which is probably more of an aesthetic thing. I don't know whether I'm going to stick that little bit on there or not, because, frankly honest, I'll probably end up breaking it off. So, should we stick these wings on and see what it looks like? Because I'm curious. Cool. There we go. I don't know what motor we got on it. There's no markings on the motor, but just having a nose in there, it does look like, what's the nearest motor which I can reference it to? And Emax CF2805. I'll show you the bonsai flying wing. It's just like one of those. It's probably about exactly the same thickness, but probably just an unbranded motor or something like that. Yeah, but from what I've seen, certainly pokey in the sky. The nose cone is only made of foam, so I don't think that little don't think that's going to last very long. I think that propeller's bent as well. I'll have a look at that. Well, we'll see what the vibrations are like on it anyway. But there we go. It's well cool. I don't know if you've got the name of it. What was it? Decathlon? No, that was the one before. It is, I don't even know. I'll put it in the video description. Frankly honest, I bought it because it was 40 quid. And I can definitely chuck that around out the front of the house. The finish on it is absolutely fantastic. So, thinking out loud, what do I need to do? Don't know what those holes are up there for, but 2 plastic rods up either side. I think I can manage that. That's not too hard, is it? Do we, stick a receiver in and chuck it? Well, I need to sort that battery compartment out. I don't know what... I've just worked out what I'll do. Is that if that landing gear is stuck in there like it is that could I not use an elastic band over the top of there, stick a bit of Velcro down the back on there to hold that down, and I am ignoring the power cable remote, stick it in like that and then use an elastic band up underneath the landing gear just to hold the battery still and tuck the cable back round. Crude, yet effective, won't be the most attractive model in the sky, but let's face it, it probably won't stay very pretty for very much longer after its first or second flights. But very cool. I'm a happy boy. That was 40 quid well spent. Happy days. So, with that said from myself, Matt, and this little bag of fun, I think. I'm looking forward to flying that. Oh, and I bet someone says, oh, Matt, what are the water skates like? No idea. Should we just stick them on there quickly? So you can see what they're like with the water floats. Get that the right way round. I'm guessing all this just sits up underneath, like so. However that fits. That goes like that. That does make the model dramatically bigger. I don't know how it does on the water. Frankly, I probably will never be flying it on the water. It's a nice touch, but realistically, is that a big selling point for me? No, not at all. But nice little landing gear instead. So, from myself, Matt, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing. Sweet little plane. Super chuffed that it was only about 40 quid. It's very, very well made. I don't think that I am going to be able to fit an FPV camera in the front little window that easily. Well, unless I take it out, which it does feel like I could tweak that out. I'll probably put a little all-in-one FPV camera either up here on the nose or up here on the top. That would be very cool. You know, one of the little all-in-one ones, cameras. That would work pretty well. Happy days. Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of happy. I'm going to get the missus or the far better half to make this one up for me today. It's only a couple of screws in it, and I'll leave that to her. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And we got a couple of servos in ESC and a tiny little diddy motor. Absolutely tiny. So if you have any questions about any of the parts which have turned up here today, like I said back at the beginning, all these were bought out of my own cash for my own abuse. So if you ask a question about the model and what I really think, you will definitely get an honest reply. And I can tell you right now, I'm really looking forward to flying that. That is really cool. And I might go and take it out for its maiden out the front. Brilliant. So with that said, from myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this episode. And I shall see you again tomorrow. Cheerios!